Good evening and welcome everyone here to ALR Monday Tier 4. We're in Suzuka, Japan, and we're looking forward to a great race with unpredictable weather. Currently it looks pretty good. I'm a little sorry for the unusual late post comms, but yeah. Job was busy. A lot of stuff is currently happening with my racing team in the background, so yeah, we're gonna see 2 days before the next round what happened on Monday. We have the starting grid who is Wittwer on P14. As I don't have times from the qualifying, I don't know what happened. Usually I expect him a bit quicker, and also the Lexus should be a car that should be quite good around a technical track like Suzuka, so maybe he just missed the qualifying, or yeah, also it is Suzuka, it's a track that doesn't fit anyone or everyone. On P13, giving his comeback, is Gin Tonics. Then we have Black Charizard on P12, Tab Shooter in the Corvette. On P11, Whack Jams in the Renault. On P10, should be a track that should fit the Renault a bit better than the previous tracks. It's not that important that you have a good top speed. Then we have Pasty on P9 in the second Toyota FT1. Second Corvette, Ross on P8. And then I think maybe the best grid position so far for the AMG 2020 with O'Leary on P7. Then we have Ragnix on P6, Porsche really good all-rounder, Alan on P5. There you see that the Lexus has more potential. Then we have Hurricane on P4 in the RX Vision, the car that is quite good on every track. Major in the second AMG on P3. Polti on P2 in the second Porsche, and a Faxart in the second RX Vision on the pole. Sorry, showed again that he had great pace, and we're gonna see if he could bring it around at least the sprint race. Had his win at Daytona, had the pace plenty of times to be a serious championship competitor, but I think he already missed a round. So let's see what happened. Start is quite important. Turn 1 can be really dangerous, especially on a grid start. Porsche usually with a bad start, Major with a good launch. Also Hurricane with a good start, and there's someone in the background already wide. I think it was Gin Tonics in the FT1. Let's see what happened to him. I think it wasn't a result of a contact. I think he just went a bit wide. Maybe was a bit scared of Black Charizard. But nothing too bad. So Faxart still in the lead. Major with a good start. Polti dropped down to P4. Rothorn also great start with the Corvette as usual on P5 from P8. Allen dropped down to P6. Wet jams. And there is Major off the track. What happened to him? So a lot more chaos than we had in the previous races, but yeah, Suzuka is kind of known for that. Little contact here between him and Hurricane, and then it is Hurricane who's pushing him off the track. And there's the first contact. And it's Hurricane just staying on the throttle. Sending Major in the gravel. pretty sure this is already on the steward's table. But for now it is what it is. Sprint race for Major is quite gone. Dropped down to P13 immediately in front of Gintonics. But at least they are still close to have contact with the field. O'Leary with the attack on the inside line against Tap. But the Corvette has the better acceleration. So currently double lead from the RX division. Polti back on P3. Ross hunted by Allen. Regnick's in the second Porsche on P6, so for Porsche it's looking pretty good at the moment. It seems that the Mazdas are a bit quicker at the moment than the rest of the field. Except the Lexus, the Mazda is also smoother on tires. What is really important on this track than the Porsche and the Corvette. Spec everyone with a soft rubber. Pasty here setting Tap under pressure, who lost a few positions. And Pasty needs points. Still competing for the championship, and that is Tap a bit wide, giving Pasty the opportunity to overtake. Pasty is using this opportunity, little tap by tap. Get another game attack, please. But immediately backing out of the move, and then there's Black Charizard, who's going for the move in 130R, and this is Tap off the track. Pretty sure this one is on Black Charizard. Smoke in the front as well. So a lot of things to watch here in round 2, 130R and the following chicane. So yes, at this point Black Charizard is not even close. Oh yeah, definitely need to change the title later. It's tier 3. Black Charizard is not even close to make an overtake, and then you just should back out of the move. He's sticking in his nose. And this is by 100% not a spot where you should do this. And then it's Tap going wide, hitting the AstroTurf, losing the control of the car. So let's see where the smokes come from. I mean, it looks that Ross is having a barbecue here. Clean 130R from everyone. Then hitting the AstroTurf. Lucky for everyone that he's ghosted. Could have been worse. nice 360, giving him, yeah, this peak Gran Turismo. You're having a 360 because you take a little touch of the AstroTurf and getting a half-second track limit penalty. So, absolutely brilliant game. But yeah, unlucky lap 2 for both Corvettes. Ross dropped down to P8 and P14 for Tap, while the Mazdas are still leading and increasing their gap, and it seems that Hurricane might be able to put more pressure on a Faxard, but a Faxard is usually the better driver on tires. Polti P3, Allen P4, having a little gap as well, as Major was eliminated by Hurricane and Ross eliminated himself. Then it's Regnick's on P6, Wack jumps on Regnick's on P5, Wack jumps on P6, O'Leary P7. Great race from him so far. Ross is bringing some pressure on him, but still has to burn his half-second penalty. Pasti already on P9. Also benefiting from all this carnage in lap 2. Black Charizard P10. Vidvir P11. Then we have the 3 drivers who were already victims of an incident. I have no clue where Major picked up a 3-second penalty, but this is a pretty heavy one. So Gentonics is passing him. So where's the big fighting? Pasti now close to Ross, and if he can stay close to the rear of Ross, who looked a bit quicker than O'Leary. Should give him enough drag to get in striking range. Gentonics now trying to set some pressure on Black Charizard. Those Masters in the 59s. And you see it's only 3.5 laps done. It's about half the session is over. And especially the front tire on Hurricane's car doesn't look the best anymore, while a Faxard is looking much better. And that's maybe why he's currently slightly quicker than his teammate. Polti now. The fight between him and Allen is getting hotter. And also Regnick's is not done with it now. What Jam's having, maybe I don't want to jinx it, maybe his best race of the season so far. Probably one of the drivers who likes Suzuka. Pasti wasn't able to stay in contact with Ross. While Ross is back on O'Leary's rear, Pasti lost a bit of contact. Same for his teammate. And Major is also really struggling to recover. Lap times doesn't look that good. But yeah, if you have a good pace and then such an unnecessary incident happens that costs you a lot of time. Sometimes you just lose the focus and it's hard to get back in the mood where you can bring your best lap times. Fastest lap now for Faxart, while Hurricane did a 2-minute 0.1. So lost about half a second. Polti starts struggling with the rear tires, and it's still a long race to go, so it's still 3 laps to go. And Alan is looking for a move, but it's not possible to make this move on 130R. We still have Ragnick's under this. His tires look so much better. So maybe he is able to bring some pressure on his teammate. Polti seems to struggle a bit with the tires here. Alan is currently not, and I'm very happy that this race is in the past because so I couldn't jinx it. A lot of smoke and it's wet jams. Who lost it? Probably on the braking point to turn 1. I'm on the wrong car. Losing the rear. Nice catch. We had 3 positions lost. The lap times of the Mazdas are currently about a second quicker. Oh, and that's well, lads. I think that's what you might call instant karma. Polti against Alan. Looks a bit weird as there's shown like a little lag on Polti's car because he really dropped down quite quick. So definitely more momentum for Alan in this moment. Polti is opening him the door, going for the better angle. But at this point you're already on the braking point. So this is, you see, Polti's braking lights are flashing. And you're not in striking range, so that is enough to say to yourself, okay, let's not go for this move. On this point, Alan is on the brakes. And there we saw it, this little... Yeah, Polti dropped a bit back 2 times. And Polti is going for the usual corner. I mean, he could have left more space on the inside. That's not the question. So it could have been possible for both cars to survive. But the guy on fault here in my eyes is definitely Alan, who's late on the brakes. Especially if you're on the inside and have that tight angle to the corner. See if it was just a curb or if it was input. Because something looked a bit weird. So yeah, by 100% Polti is taking this corner like there was no car on the right hand side. Usually I would say if you had a car on the outside line, leave enough space, because in 99% of the cases you're the idiot who lands in the gravel even if it's not your fault. Alan maybe realized his mistake, like he's still, corner is almost done and he's still on the grass trying to catch the car. Well, you see Polti is still sliding, then touching the curb. And at this point the car gets grip and you see the front right is still in the air. So talking about steering or counter steering is useless in this situation. And then he's coming back. Just hitting Alan. Who sent it off track. Trying to catch it. Really careful rejoin, I have to say. Yeah, I think both cars might have had a bit more awareness of this situation, but I think Alan is the guy who caused it. Now it's gonna be interesting to see. First of all, it will help Hurricane and Afaxad in the front. And also if there is some team order, because Reknix is definitely the quicker driver at the moment. Gap to Afaxad and Hurricane. Maybe 4, maybe 5 seconds. Polti wide again. And O'Leary on P5. Still waiting for more mistakes. Past the P7, P8, back jams, Ross on P9, and Ross really slow through the chicane, and Ross is in the barrier again. No car close to him. Same thing again. He's doing everything to get the second corner of the season calendar named by him. And we have a little push from Vidvier that gives him a bit more momentum, and so Black Shariza and Vidvier are able to overtake. P11 now for him. And also Major 2:15 on the last lap. Must have had another incident. Looked like he pitted. Tires looks fresh. Hurricane's tires almost gone. And for him, it is definitely important to set really good lap times now. He's still in the 2 minutes, while the rest is, of course, through the fighting 2:03. But he needs to make a gap for a possible penalty. I mean, we all remember the incident with Major. And so it depends if it's a 5 or 10 second penalty or even no penalty. I'm not a steward. But as he's fighting for the championship, it's about him. He lost a few positions on penalties during the season, and so he lost a few points on it to minimize this possible point loss. A Faxard is pretty flawless and so also on the much better material on the moment. And Hurricane is not able to get in range of his teammate. Pulte is still ahead of Ragniks. Now heading into the final lap. O'Leary P5, Allen P6. Also Allen really struggling with the tires. Pretty unusual for the Lexus. Pasty's tires are almost gone. Red Jam's struggling with the rears. Yeah, this is what Lexus tires could look like. Whitvier on P9, solid race, even if it's not his favorite track. Benefited from a lot of mistakes and incidents. But if you stay clean and have no incidents and mistakes, then it's even possible to jump 5 or even more positions. I think in his case it is 5. Black Charizard P10. Also a guy who might receive a penalty. Was in the first Corvette with a worn day. Gin Tonics P12. Not a big improvement from the starting P13. And then it's P13 for Tap. And then Major 202. I think he might have pitted to get at least a point for the fastest lap. The interesting strategy. But he was purple. But is he focused enough to bring that final lap over the line? A Faxart, of course, will not improve. But he's still sitting on it. 59.4, almost 5 is a brilliant time. And congratulations, after Daytona, he's winning again. This time is Suzuka. Provisional, his teammate, and this is... won't be happy about that half-second penalty, because this is jumping up to 1 second. Porsche 3-4, O'Leary in the first AMG on P5, Allen on P6, Pasty P7, Wag Jams on P8, Whitvier P9, P10 for Black Charizard, Rothorn, Gin Tonics, and then his Tap Shooter. And what you saw, this spinning over the line here from Wag Jams, I wouldn't suggest the drivers to do that, because first of all, it just looks stupid on stream, and second, it costs you just time. And if there's a time penalty in front of you, it is possible that you just don't get a position because you spun over the line. But yeah, not a brilliant race to watch for the win, because Faxat was just dominant, and both Masters, again, I think it's both top 3 drivers of this tier in the top 1 car of quite every tier. Honestly hope to not see the RX Vision again next season. I mean, if the Supra is banned and the Nismo is banned, these cars are not better than the RX Vision. So again, trying to not get spoiled. It's loading hours. And it looks like we have some water on the track. Let's show everything. We have interesting tire decisions. So track is definitely on intermediate conditions on both lines. And that is interesting, as from free practice to the race, the settings will copy itself. I don't know how long was the break before the lobby was resetted. So smart drivers could have driven maybe 2 laps and have seen that the track is drying pretty fast, maybe saving a pit stop. But it is Suzuka, and under these conditions I would never suggest to start on dry tires while the track is definitely on intermediate weather. So I think there's not more rain on the radar. So we have Major on the pole, definitely on the best tire for this track, intermediate. Racing softs for Tap will be interesting in turn 1. Gin Tonics also on racing softs. Ross on racing mediums, even more interesting. But I never had a rain race in ALR. I don't know the tire restrictions, because it is possible there are several leagues who are handling it different. So on a wet race like this could be called, it is possible that the tire restrictions are not upheld. If they are still are, maybe having a shorter medium stint, and when but then he should have gone for the Inters. Never mind. He's on the mediums. Softs for Black Charizard. Vidvir, the second car on the intermediate, so I think he will jump many cars in the first corners, especially in the S section. Also intermediums for Rec James. Immediately increasing his chances for a good race. Pasty on P8 on the mediums. Intermediates for Alan. Also intermediates for O'Leary. Racing softs for Ragnix. Racing softs for Polti, so Porsche on the same strategy. Racing mediums for Hurricane and racing mediums for Afaxad. I am pretty sure, and I honestly would bet money that starting on dry tires will not turn out till the end. Even if the track is just wet for 2 or 3 laps, but there's so many corners at Suzuka, and there's the first car in the barrier. It is Tap in the Corvette. It is Ross, so the Corvette, yes. V8 engine, dry tires, instant wall contact. It's Black Charizard spinning. It is Gin Tonic spinning. Distracting Ragnix. Ragnix getting slowed down. Afaxad getting slowed down. Afaxad spinning. Hurricane white. Pasty white. Polti white. And you see how slow it is. So yes, it's Major in front. Whack Jams, Alan, Vidvir, even on intermediates in trouble. What happened to him? And you see how wet it is. Power oversteer even on intermediate tires. And the track is not even soaked, so you can imagine how much trouble the cars on the dry tires have. Only with some damage, but it's just temporary. And here you see, Polti cannot even see. Now he can see Alan, who lost the car, but they cannot even see the cars in front anymore. So definitely better decision to start on the wet compounds. Whack Jams P2, O'Leary P3, so very, very good start for the AMGs. Also Vidvier on P4. Polti in the Porsche, and the Porsche is usually a car that is really good drivable in the rain, but of course on dry tires it is not really drivable. Gin Tonics white, Rothorn white, a Faxart white, Hurricane, Regnix spun around, Tap is around, so the Corvette is nearly undrivable in the rain. I might ask what their thought was in the Discord, because another car around, yes, it's Ross. So Corvette P13 and 14, what they thought about starting on the dry compound. Because there are not many tracks where it would make any sense. I think maybe High Speed Ring could be one of these tracks. Wet Jams wide, but could catch the car. And you see, even the cars on intermediates are struggling. And this might be the point that the other guys might have seen, because the track is, yes, it's drying at least in the final sectors or in the final half of the track pretty quick. We are pretty much on the edge for driving on dry tires. But we're gonna see how it is in sector 1. And also, it is just a racing line that is close to be drivable. And on dry tires you're not able to overtake on the wet. And while Gin Tonics just started his second lap and is in turn 1, Major is already in Spoon, followed by Whack Jams. So top 3, pretty similar pace. Vidvier a bit off. And then yeah, we had Alan, who struggled a bit with the car and the S's. But this is definitely a free time gain plus a free pit stop for the guys in front. Let's see when Major comes through the S's. Track is drying pretty quick. I think this lap, maybe another lap, and then it should be dry enough to pit. Gin Tonics was one of the only guys, oh no, a lot of them pitted for intermediates, and that's what it is. So now the track could be dry enough for them. And it was the Corvettes, Pesty and Polti, both Porsches, Regnix as well, who stayed on the dry tires. So Gin Tonics, Hurricane, Black Charizard and a Faxart haven't even finished 2 laps and did 2 crazy mistakes, as they are now maybe even on a slower tire. I'm pretty sure that Regnix flying laps if he hits it, or even Ross flying laps if he hits it, are now quicker than the intermediate tires. And now the front runners who already were on the wet compound, a little fight here between Black Charizard and Hurricane. The guys in front now have the time gain plus the free pit stop. Yeah, Hurricane seems to struggle a bit in the dirty air. He's quicker than Black Charizard, but it's hard to overtake. And you see how quick this intermediate is now wearing. Maybe now on the acceleration. Black Charizard is still defending, and Hurricane is losing 2 wheels. He's on the grass, but brilliant catch. Stayed away from the barrier, caught the car. Just a loss of maybe 1.5 to 2 seconds. Our Jams must have had a little incident, as we have now O'Leary on P2, and he's under pressure from Vidvier. Yeah, and Polti is immediately a second purple in Sector 1. I think now we're gonna see the front runners, the top 5 in the pits. Also passed him more than a second purple in Sector 1. And yes, 40 minutes is a long race. But as you already lost, I think, till everyone switched tires, 25% of it with being then 10 minutes in the race. It isn't that long anymore to equalize 2 of those major mistakes. Yes, Major, O'Leary, Wake Jams, Vidvier, top 5 are going into the pits, going for fresh tires. And now we gonna see what they are doing, because I think we're now in a window where it is possible that these guys are going soft. Just a tire swap, no fuel, soft tires. What happened to O'Leary? Or did O'Leary forget to change tires? Oh, I think he just misclicked. And yeah, that's taking him the full advantage. And you see, Polti did everything right. I mean, the Porsche is good in the wet, stayed low on mistakes, and is in front of Vidvier, Allen and Wax Jams, who all were intermediates. He set very quick times when the dry tire was the quicker one. He's even now jumping O'Leary, of course. O'Leary is on very worn intermediates. And he's not that far off Major. Gintonic staying out another lap on the intermediates. Same for Black Charizard. White Bose and Mapsters doing the absolute right thing. Refueling. And going back on track on softs. But yeah, Major is already about half a lap, maybe even more in front of them. And it doesn't matter what car you have, it doesn't matter how quick you are. If Major is not doing absolutely everything wrong, or the next surprise rain comes down, the 4 guys who started on dry switch to intermediates and now switching back won't be able to get back in contact. O'Leary going for another pit stop. Let's see if his guys this time have some tires with him. Yes, this time they start working on the car. That has cost him a lot. Losing all the advantage he gained in the early stages of the race. Back on P8. Charizard is now going for the pits. Definitely lap too late. Same for Gintonics. Faxat is already ahead of them. Hurricane now as well. But the only thing the Mazda guys can do is hope for more rain. Because there's no other way I can see where they should majorly improve their positions. Speaking about Major is still in the lead, increasing the gap to Polti. Vitvier and Alan, the teammates, are close together. But yeah, all those strategy maneuvers cost a lot of battle stuff. Because currently the closest car on track together are Vitvier and Alan, and I would be surprised if these 2 guys would start fighting on track. So let's hope that we get some action back in the later stages of the race. Almost 40 minutes are done. Everyone will pit again. The last lap of Major. 2/10 quicker than Polti. Weggems with the fastest lap of the race at the moment. Vitvier 202 flat, 217 for Alan. I think quite soon we're gonna see a position switch between these 2 cars. Or is there an upcoming Lexus fight? Major now 2008. Yes, Vitvier, smart move, leaving the racing line, letting his teammate pass. would be just unnecessary to start fighting there, especially in the S section. And White Gems is on an absolute solid pace. And already gaining time on Wittweer. Faxa sitting on a 1 second penalty. Same for Hurricane. Fastest lap for Hurricane. Pretty sure that's a penalty picked up on running right in 130R. I actually don't know how it's judged when you're setting the fastest lap in a lap where you picked up a penalty. But if it was 130R, yeah, it is not really something where you really gain time if you just run right. Wake times again 3/10 quicker than Wittweer. If he can keep it clear, he should be able to catch up in the next. Let's see what the gap is. 2-3 laps, something about that. But yeah, same problem as in the sprint. His tire wear is, especially on the rear, much bigger than the wear from Wittweer. Car with the engine in the front, car against engine in the rear. Not a big surprise that there's a difference. And also major 20017, 2008 before. But yeah, he still needs to push a bit because Polti is also in the 200. So even if there's a solid gap, there's no reason to go in the easy mode. Let's see our potentially only upcoming fight. 2013, 2012. Still quicker, but just about the 10th quicker. Something around 5-6 seconds now, the gap between Major and Polti. So far, great recovery from the unlucky sprint for Major. I think he's pretty happy that he found the focus back on the short break between sprint and feature. Faxa now 59.2. These guys are absolutely. Oh, Ross dropped down to P12. I think he was in for his second pit stop. Yes, 2:16 on lap 9. Fresh tires, so second pit stop is done. Yeah, he's good enough to make it about 20 minutes on these tires. Also, Tap already pitted. And so that is kind of the Pasty now in the pits. The realistic gap. The Mazdas have to the next competitors, because also they will have to pit again. And that's about 20 seconds to Regnick's. So I would be honestly surprised if the Mazdas could finish higher than P11 and 12. Polti's lap times getting closer to them from Major. Allen with a brilliant lap. Let's see if Work Jams 2027 lost more than a second to Wittweer on the previous lap, had a little mistake in it. Polti going now for his final pit stop, or provisional final pit stop. It currently doesn't look like it will rain again. Pretty sure we're gonna see Major in the pits now. And I think this weather was absolutely perfect for Major and for Polti, because both didn't look very well on the tires in the sprint race. But these few laps on the intermediates gave them a bit more room in the strategy. And Allen might make a bigger jump, or catching up to Hurricane and to Pasty. In the championship standings. Polti back on track on P7, right behind his teammate on the mediums. So yeah, it seems that the restrictions are still run mediums and run softs. Finally, we have some battle on track. Tap is getting pressure from Pasty. into 130R, we'll see an attack. Passy is smart enough, bump drafting a bit. 130R is not a corner to go for a move. Maybe good exit into the final corner. And then surprise attack into turn 1, but Tab is covering the inside line. We saw O'Leary coming out of the pits. And that's the tricky thing about Suzuka. You first need to find a good spot where you can overtake, or just wait for an error of your opponent in front. But even there we saw Tab wasn't really perfect, and his left-hander touched a bit of the dirt next to the curb. Still no opportunity for Passy to even try it. For the hairpin, he's too far away. Going a wider angle. Even for Spoon, it won't be enough. That O'Leary lost because both of them had their final pit stops. So O'Leary lost a few positions on track. But we're gonna stay close to Pasty and Tab. Bit of a contact there. Pasty then made it. Pasty is going wide, leaving enough space on the inside. Tab's car outbalanced a bit on the curb, what forces him a bit into Pasty's car. And then it's Tab steering into Pasty for the next corner, getting a bit wide. So clean overtake in my eyes from Pasty. Bit too much contact in my eyes, but majorly done by Tab. And O'Leary is the next car to set pressure from Tab. About 10 minutes to go. And at least P6, 7 and 8 bringing us some action. We had absolute insane lap 1 and lap 2, and then the different strategies killed every battle on track. See if fucks up sitting on another penalty. Yeah. Mazda's back on P11 and 12 again. Is in Spoon, while the Foxart is in the hairpin. But what happened to Polti? What happened to Polti? I have no clue when it happened because I was a bit focused on the battle of Tapassi and Aluiri. Was it just a good pit stop of Alan? But I think they were... Oh, a half a second penalty might have been the reason. One of the easier burn zones in the calendar. And not a big thing, but more than enough for Polti to lose the position against Alan. And with the good... dangerous moment here for Alan. With the good fuel management of Alan and the Lexus, the fight for P1 could become a fight. About 2 seconds the gap here between Major and Alan. Polti seems not able to stay in contact. Also Whitvier, it doesn't look like he will get in striking range. He was slower than Polti almost the entire race. But still, just one mistake can cost you the podium. Wake Jams, the first of the top 5 who were strategy-wise today the smartest, is a bit off. Still not really pressure for him. P5 looks quite secured for him. Major with a brilliant 15.9.6 on the previous lap and personal best, even if it's just 2000s in this sector. Let's see the lap times between Alan and Major. (15.9.7), 15.9.6, almost identical lap times here between those two. But Alan needs to push a bit more if he wants to get back in striking range. And it seems that the sky is getting darker. But the clouds doesn't really look like rain. Still, unfortunately, we cannot switch the radar of the drivers. But if there's more rain coming, it can spice everything up. Oh, something happened here between O'Leary, Pesty and Tap. We're seeing a Porsche white, we're seeing a Corvette around. Definitely something to watch. Let's stay on O'Leary's view. Better momentum. I'm driving the Corvette by myself, so the Corvette has an earlier braking point. Tab is committing to the outside, then is on the brakes. Let's have a look in the cockpit. On the first view it looked like there was a bit too much moving under braking from Tab. Okay, O'Leary is definitely not moving into him. And also Tab is not really moving. This is a difficult one. Because of course if you're a following car you have to adjust your driving to the car in front. And he had enough corners to study the Corvette and where it has to brake. But yeah, don't think anything happened here on purpose. From O'Leary's side he was just surprised by the braking point of the Corvette. But then there was a Porsche going off with Regnick's. Ooh, dangerous one, dangerous one. Not affected by the Corvette AMG chaos. At this point he's just braking on the grass. We're losing the car going wide. But gaining 2 positions, so P8 now for Regnick's, P9 for Ross. Tab dropped down to P10. And O'Leary stayed on P7. Might be a penalty for him. Like 7 minutes to go. It's getting darker and darker. See, we're in the final sector. And definitely not a PB here from Alan. It also looks visually on track that he lost a bit on this lap. Oh, half a second quicker than Major. Polti losing on those two. And Wittweer is gaining 8/10 in the last round. So will we become any intense fighting here in the top 4? Or will they just stay in the order we currently have? Because we saw several times it is one thing to get close to another car, it is another thing to pass him. Half-second penalty for wet jams. Still not in trouble. Pesci with a solid P6 so far. Would give him some solid points against Hurricane. Of course, he would lose a few points against Allen. O'Leary P7. Regnick's P8. Good result for the Porsche guys. Ross, solid recovery after the wrong tire pick. Same for Tab. He was in a better position. Was on P7, and then his unlucky incident with O'Leary. Faxart and Hurricane again close on track. But in regions we usually don't see the Mazdas. 11 and 12. But again, the only mistakes were made on strategy. On track, Hurricane fastest lap, a Faxart second fastest lap. On track there's no discussion about their pace, but yeah, those mistakes on strategy cost so much time. And you see it in the gap to Gin Tonics and Black Charizard, who were on the same strat. Gap seems to be the same. But it seems that Wittweer is now, at least for the straight down to 130R, in slipstream range of Polti. 3 minutes to go. And I think for Allen and Major it could be 2 more laps. And Polti and Wittweer might just start into their final lap. Polti is going wide and this could be a penalty for him. Was Wittweer also wide? It doesn't look like he really gained something on this one. Yes, both took the same line next to the track. I think both were smart, stepped on the brake. So no penalty. But Wittweer is close. Wittweer is absolutely close, and Polti and Wittweer are definitely on the final lap. And that's the fight we're gonna stay on for the moment. Because Major and Allen will have another lap. We have the ranking. I have attention in the ranking. If something switches, of course, we go to Allen and Major. But is Polti bringing this podium spot home? The Lexus isn't the best on top speed. Porsche has definitely an advantage there. But we saw both had the little mistake in 130R, and if Polti is doing it again and Wittweer is just not doing it, he might take this final podium spot. Yes, both will definitely have another lap. Wittweer is not getting close enough to Polti. Good 130R here. Wittweer was wide again. And Polti is bringing it home. P3 for the Porsche. Congratulations, Wittweer. Also solid race, P4. Black Jam's probably the best result of his season so far, P5. In the Renault, was on the right strategy, had a few minor mistakes, but also his pace was 2:06, his fastest lap on lap 16. So the pace was definitely there. O'Leary bringing home P6, Pasti P7, P8 for Regnix, a teammate of Polti. Have we missed a Corvette overtake? Yes, we have. So let's watch this. A step in the slipstream of Ross. Side by side through the chicane. Yeah, Tep just had a little better 130R. Brilliant for the pictures. P9 and 10 for the Corvettes. A Faxard. P11. P12 for Hurricane. Race pace was absolutely brilliant, but I know that they will definitely not be happy with their strategy. And we had 3 different types of strategies here. We have the top 5 with the best strategy. Then we have until P12 or until P10 another 5 cars with a fucked up strategy. Gin Tonics P13. And then we have 4 more cars from a Faxard to Black Charizard. And it looks like Black Charizard is even running out of fuel. Yeah, Major is bringing it home. Win for the AMG. Alan with brilliant results for the championship. P2 was not enough to catch up in the end. We saw, at least in the end, some good fighting. And we're looking forward to next week. I think we have Saint Croix whatever layout. I have no clue. But at least it's not a real track, so there's no corner names to know. I hope you enjoyed. And we see each other in 3 more days. Maybe 4. Maybe 5. But I think latest Thursday will be the next stream for Tier 3. I will of course change the stream title here, not Tier 4. Have a good night, have a nice rest of the weekend.